So, I guess it's my turn to do an iceberg. This time, it's going to be about Touhou Project. I assume you already know what an iceberg is, but if you don't know about Touhou Project, it's basically a 2D arcade shooter series Danmaku featuring magical girls in Atlantic and Tokyo. Basically think of something like Galaga, but more chaotic and much more in the style of anime. But for now, let's just get into this iceberg, okay? The story of Eastern Wonderland hitbox shifting. I am not so sure what this is supposed to mean, but I guess this could describe how unfair the hitboxes in this game are, and I could see this. I mean, don't you ever get hit by a stray bullet you don't feel like you should have hit? Yeah, me too. Human villagers are cattle. Humans in Gensokyo are significantly weaker than yokai, as they don't have magic powers. But seeing how the humans are just as powerless as actual cattle in our world are, I can see where this entry comes from. However, I mean, I kinda have to disagree because of one thing. The humans are just left alone, while in our world, we treat cows not necessarily very nice. Basically how you do it in Minecraft. Reimu killed Orange. In Lotus Land's story, you encounter her as a stage 1 boss. In the story of this game, it is implied that Orange doesn't want to die just yet. Maybe Reimu could have killed this yokai, and doesn't Reimu and Marisa kill every yokai they meet, or do they just be defeated? That's actually a good question. Marisa's mushrooms are hallucinogens. Under Marisa's skirt, there appears to be mushrooms made from mushroom magic. With these mushrooms, she boils, crushes, or dries these mushrooms to create chemicals, medicine, or even drugs. It is also implied that after throwing these mushrooms, they explode, like a Molotov cocktail or something like that. And it is also implied that she has an immunity against the poison. Which kinda reminds me, does Mario have an immunity against mushrooms? How do mushrooms work in that universe? Yukari and Maribel are connected. It appears that Yukari and Maribel are connected somehow. Both appear to be able to see through boundaries. Both appear to have visited the moon. Yukari and Maribel, well, I've forgotten their name, although Yukari does not remember her original name, and Maribel worries that, her name, Maribel, is not a real one, as, her friend refers to her as just, Mary. Yeah. What if these two are just the same people, but in different points of time? Shanghai Alice of Meiji's 17 Theories. I guess this is talking about where the title comes from, as I don't really see what else this could mean, but anyway. The Shanghai Alice part of the song is from Team Shanghai Alice, the thing that makes Touhou games. The Meiji and 17 part comes from the 17th Meiji period, taking place during 1884. This is the year when the Sino-French War started. Hey, I'm just reading it off the wiki. Perfect Cherry Blossom version 0.08. This is the trial version of Perfect Cherry Blossom. From the pictures that I'm showing you here, you could tell that things are quite a bit different. Even more things are different from the trial versions to the release version of Perfect Cherry Blossom, but I will explain them more and show them more as the iceberg goes on. Ramilla isn't a Depish. Depish is the family of Dracula. And Dracula's name is Vlad Depish Dracul. And due to her theme song, The Young Descendant of Depish, it is assumed that Ramilla belongs to this family. Zun denies that she is related to the Tepish family, although Ramilla asserts herself as one. PC98 is canon. Zun did say that PC98 is canon, however, there is a contradiction between the PC98 and Windows canon, though Windows canon is official. It seems a bit lazy, but it will do the job. M. Alice Cannons, or Malice Cannons. In Imperishable Night, if you play as Team Marisa and Alice, you can spam the shift button between the two, thus producing a pretty good amount of damage. Miko's Sex Change. Miko's title, Taishi-sama, otherwise known as Crown Prince in English, is a male, gender-neutral term. While Miko's gender is female, take that as you will, the fandom, has a field day with Miko and gender. Nua's true form. Her last name, Hojo, means sealed beast, and the first kanji could be written in a certain way, as it could be referenced as Nua being trapped underground before the events of UFO, and her species, Nua, being a beast. Mima is behind CDS. I really don't know what is behind this one here, as you know, when I try to search it up, it just comes up with Touhou CDs. But I won't be the first to say this, but Mima, we want your return. Please, son. Yoshika is Miyako no Yoshika. Since Yoshika's name comes from Miyako no Yoshika, a 9th century Japanese poet, legends say that 100 years after he left office, he was spotted as a mountain hermit with his face unchanged. You know what? Maybe that could be Yoshika's origin story. Yukari kidnaps humans to feed the population of Gensokyo. I'm not sure if this is supposed to be some joke entry, but it is stated that Yukari does quite the contrary, not bother humans. So, but if I get this entry wrong, please tell me in the comments. I mean, I'm not afraid to admit my mistakes. Gensokyo is real. I guess where this one comes from is that the area of Gensokyo is based off the Yatsugatake Mountains in Japan, but I have never been to the Yatsugatake Mountains in Japan, so I can't really confirm that, whether it's true or false, but take that as you will. Sakuya is a Lunarian. I couldn't find anything on this, but I will say that she is the only human living in a Scarlet Devil mansion, but I really think I am making a mistake in my research here, but who knows? Could she be a Lunarian? Where are those bunny ears on her? Mailing is a dragon. Now, I don't think she's a dragon in the story, but rather a play on her kanji name, Hong Mailing. The first kanji has the same on reading as, you know, whatever this is, as that kanji means something like two-headed dragon-like creature in Chinese. Pretty interesting. Wait warmly. The famous Touhou phrase that has appeared on, loading screens basically everywhere. It is synonymous with Touhou Project. Although I'm not sure why it's on this iceberg, but it is something known within the Touhou fandom, so... The Icicle Fall Blind Spot. All you need to know, it is this. That is all. Reimu is an orphan. Marisa once said in the Curiosity of the Lotus Asia that she was an orphan, although this context suggests that she was just making a throwaway line. Although we do not know what happened to Reimu's history prior to the events of the games, so who knows if she's really an orphan. The 60 Years Cycle. According to Phantasmagoria Flower View and Seasonal Dream Vision, every 60 years, everything is reborn. I think this could be a metaphor for the seasons or the sexagenary cycle, which is an old method keeping days in East Asia in BC times. And if you look on a Touhou wiki and you search up any random character, there's a chance that you'll find a character whose age is specified as above 60, meaning that they lived over many cycles. Rin Satsuki, the original third playable character that could have been playable in the embodiment of Scarlet Devil, but was cut due to time constraints. We only know of her existence due to leftover hexadecimal code and a portrait of her from a Comic-Con event. Zun's Strange Works. These were a series of works Zun composed on an SD-88 during the development of Shusho Gyoku. Are these strange? Maybe. I would say that they do have the Zun magic that we all know and love, and listening to some of the tracks, I like them. Kagero Uwus were done by Zun's wife. This is the sound file of Kageru's Uwu. Was it done by Zun's wife? Let's just say I hope her wife isn't an actual werewolf. Legacy of Lunatic Kingdom Overdrive mode. There was another difficulty mode in this game's development, although it didn't make it into the final game, probably because the game is already hard enough. Several of the spells from Overdrive are also in there, albeit in a somewhat erratically working form if you inject it into the modern game. Koichi is inverse Satori. All I can say is, this is ingenious design at its finest. DIPPC62. I believe this is referring to the girl on the C62 cover. All I can say is that she only appeared on this CD cover for Comic Cat 62 and that's it. Nothing else is really known about this girl besides her design. Embodiment of Scarlet Devil Stage 6 Easy. From what I can guess, this is referring to this. Yeah. Touhou Wiki Poll Rigging. The title says it all. People claim that the Touhou Wiki is rigged for polls in certain characters. That's why you always see Reimu, Marisa, and Koichi at the top. But at the end of the day, these people are just in denial that Rumia will never be at the #1 spot. UFO Stage 2 Secret Fairy. A little into Stage 2 where the red fairies drop in from both sides, there is a UFO carrying fairy to the right that does not enter a visible playing area. This fairy can be destroyed by a bomb deployed by any character's shot type except for Reimu A. Kaguya and Moku were too strong for Hisoten and Soku. They were considered for this game but were deemed too strong. Mostly weaker characters were put into this game. And also something not in this iceberg but I want to put here is that Wriggle Nightbug and the Torikawa Shiro were supposed to be in this game but were cut due to time constraints. Unfortunately. Aya's Wings. In Bohemian Archive of Japanese Red, it described Aya as having black wings. You cannot see them in certain artwork of Shoot the Bullet and Phantasmagoria Flower View. The consensus in the fandom is that Aya can just magically hide her wings when they're in her way. Mystic Square Cheeto Storage Glitch. This is a glitch that causes you to die in the beginning of Shinki's fight. This is due to a memory glitch during the Cheeto phase of Mai and Yuki's battle. Danmaku Amanojaku Gold Rush. This is a one-stage game featuring Seija Kijin fighting against Reimu Hakure. It was made for the Digital Game Expo in 2014 Dojin Shooting Game Caravan Contest, where it was available to be played. This game was never meant to be sold or played outside the event, and a little fun fact about it, it was created in 2 days. The pause sound is sped up. The pause sound is sped up of a certain theme. This also reminds me of the mushroom and the flagpole sound of the original Mario being, just sped up with one or the other. The theme of Eastern Story. Remember the pause sound we just mentioned? Well, this is what it was based off of, and it's pretty nice that knowing that this certain tune and theme has been used for so many years. Aya and Mamizo are based off Zun's wife. I couldn't find any pictures of Zun's wife, mostly because I'm not a stalker, but I can see the connection between these two characters, Aya and Mamizo. I mean, they seem to have a similar personality just looking at them, so maybe it could have been based off of Zun's wife's personality. I find that pretty sweet of Zun. The fortune teller did nothing wrong. The fortune teller from the human village was banished by the master diviner because the fortune teller was using magic into the diviner master's techniques. After peering, into the outer edge of the world, he came to resent how Gensokyo's humans lived at the mercy of Yokai, and created a plan to become Yokai himself. Around half a year before the events of Forbidden Scroll reached chapter 24, the fortune teller committed suicide, leaving behind a book in which she had written a mix of powerful divination techniques and scribbles. What would happen if the master diviner allowed such magic to be used in techniques? Zun's plagiarism. Since Touhou is a 2D curtain shooter, it is going to get its skeptics and haters saying that, oh, it's plagiarized off of such and something like that. However, on a other side note, many people claim that Yuan Owen Was Her, Flandra's theme, was wrongly criticized for copying John Stump's Death Waltz. However, this is just a misconception. Touhou Seichi. This could be the site where Akori Shrine is based off of. And it looks pretty nice. I actually kind of want to visit there someday. Danmaku is a form of meditation. Many people love the dodging nature of Danmaku games, and I can see that. It reminds me of just, sniping heads in Team Fortress 2 when, I'm good at sniper. But anyway, I recommend this video here that goes a bit into this. And To put it short, it's a pretty interesting video on how Damaku is actually pretty relaxing. Seho is canon. Yuka possesses the ultimate magic. Modern Alice's grimoire is a fake. Yuka was given a profile that there is, well, some relation in the Seho universe. It is stated that she managed to obtain the ultimate magic in this profile, where after Mystic Square's extra stage ending, she received the ultimate magic. For Alice's modern grimoire, I am not really sure about that. As for modern Alice, she could be just holding a different book. For Seho being canon to the Touhou universe, there are issues about that. You know that Touhou is set in modern times while Seho is set in the far future, but who knows, maybe Yukari set up a portal between now and the future, so this could possibly happen. Gensokyo is Japan. Could it be that Gensokyo is what Japan is like? Yokai doing weird things? Basically what happens in Yokai Watch? Quite possibly, yeah. Marisa actually killed Reimu in Lotus Land story. Marisa literally kills Reimu according to this conversation. Farewell Reimu, I'll pray your soul rests in peace. Don't just kill me like that. Angry. Whoops. Heart emoji. Cerno's English beef fixation. Cerno once said, I'll deep freeze you with some English beef. Which begs the question, how can you freeze someone with beef? Well, she is the smartest fairy after all, so who knows what she can actually do. Owabami Breakers is canon. This game was inspired around the idea of alcoholism, to which the origin of the idea was something like this. A drinking party was done. We're at a bar one night drinking, and someone said, hey, why not make a game? Apparently the game was on a tight timeline, and the creation was spent from the 13th to the 29th of December in the year 2007. The game's engine is based around Mountain of Faith, hence most of Zun's involvement of the game was the engine. According to him, he took part in the hardest creation. It's got graphics and Danmaku that seems exactly like the same as seen in various Touhou Project games. It's not canon, although it has many characteristics of Touhou. Reimu's personality seems to change from manga to manga to reflect the different protagonists' view of her. The title says it all. You know what? Maybe people, write different depictions of Reimu like how we write different depictions of Santa, okay? Some of us write Santa as, pretty jolly man, while others write Santa as a pretty mean guy who breaks into people's houses. Kind of the same as Reimu. Some write Reimu as, this happy, cheery yokai hunter, while others write her as, the B word. Orange survived and became Mailing. Orange and Mailing look similar. What if Reimu didn't kill Orange and she became Mailing? Well, by looks, definitely looks possible. The many Perfect Cherry Blossom development pictures. Now, there are many Perfect Cherry Blossom versions on this iceberg, but this is the only entry where it's gonna have, actual, images of it. So, to take for example, here's what Sakuya looked like, and here's her evolution. Now, you can clearly tell the difference between the first and the last picture, but, I really do love Sakuya's first design. She actually looks really cute. Take for example, spell cards. Even Marisa and Reimu's design. Even Cerno too, which I believe looks like she's using her embodiment of Scarlet Devil picture, I think? I don't know. And then, the trial pictures. Now, they're in very low quality, so I can't really show much. Now, there is a place where I got actually all these from, and that's called Touhou Memories. It's a Tumblr blog. I mean, you can look it up for yourself if you want to look up some unused stuff. Basically, all that unused stuff that you'd find, just on the internet. And I'll put it in the description below. You should look at it. Okina helps the protagonist in every game. Since she is a Sage, it is meant that she is supposed to keep the balance against Sokyo. It is reasonable that she helps the protagonist throughout the games to deal with the bad yokai. Kinda like a goddess. Maybe. Esoterica 9-syllable stabs out of place bullet. This bullet appears to be a different color from the rest. That's literally all there is to say. Komachi predicted Marisa's death. Well, I wouldn't say exactly predicted, but she did state, when you die, what kind of ghost will you be? That's kinda dark if you think about it. Ghost wasn't a typo. In Touhou 17, there was a misspelling of ghost in the B section. All I can say is, English is a confusing language, so why does there have to be an H before ghost? I just don't know. Lafcadio Hearn was Yukari's pseudonym. Well, remember what I said about how Yukari doesn't remember her original name? Well, to put it in short, due to how Maribel Hearn and Yukari are connected, maybe Yukari's pseudonym was Lafcadio. Maybe. Mima is the 5th Prism River sister. This is another theory about how Mima can be, something in the Windows universe, although there's barely anything to support that she is a Prism River sister. But what happened to the 4th Prism River sister? That belongs to Layla Prism River, who was originally from the outside world. Layla was only briefly mentioned in the Prism River sisters' official profile in Perfect Cherry Blossom, and she has no official depiction. Yuko moves towards Sakuya Ayakashi during the Resurrection Butterfly spell. Yuko attempted to overpower the seal in Sakuya Ayakashi in order to both see the legendary blossoms and the resurrected soul that was sealed within. It was until Yuko realized that she made the seal on her own and can't unseal the soul of this tree. Renko grows up to be Yumemi. They look similar, right? Renko appears to be studying physics and could become a professor, just like Yumemi. That's the only connection they appear to have. Yuka is a foreign yokai. In Touhou Project, Yuka is a boss in Kyogyoku. She was merely referenced as foreign by Malia, who also boasted about her speed. It is unknown how Yuka would have gotten to the Touhou universe, but I like to think Yukari had something to do with her portals. The Akori Shrine God. Nothing is known about the god of Akori Shrine, but we do know that it is able to keep yokai away from the shrine and express blessings through Go Shintai and Yin Yang orbs. Shikigami are computers. A Shikigami is a summoned spirit of Onmyoji, a Japanese sorcerer. Shikigami are used to protect and serve their master, much like a Western concept of a witch is familiar. They often have a special link to their masters, just like pets or even pre-programmed machines. The flow of time in Sokyo is convoluted. I mean, when yokai look like they're in their teenage years despite being over 1,000 years old, that asks the question, how does time work there? Yukari's animal abuse. According to a story in Bohemian Archive of Japanese Red, in an altercation between Yukari and Aya, she claims that Yukari abuses animals. Yukari claims that animal abuse? My, when did I ever do such thing? Ah, you mean Ron here. This isn't abuse. It's just a little disciplining. Besides, Ron may look like a fox, but she's just Shikigami. She's not an animal. Yukari was abusing Ron. Although is Ron an animal is to be determined. I like Marisa stole Ellen's clothes. Their clothes look strangely similar. Marisa is also known to steal things, so could Marisa have stolen Ellen's clothes? Lunatic NNN is canon. I think this refers to something about no miss, no bomb, no trance, and how these perfect runs are somehow canon in the game. I wonder, I think I'm missing something here. If you know what Lunatic NNN is, please tell me. Zun credited in a porn game. Back when Zun was working at Taito, he had created a few games before he left in 2007. He may have worked at a porn game and we just don't know about it all. Although I couldn't find one, maybe he was credited in a fan-made one. Who knows? Alphys was replaced by Simulacrum. Alphys was definitely replaced by someone else in the later Touhou games, as he hasn't been making any drawings recently. Although, who is he replaced by? Government cover-up of Lunarian existence and Armstrong Lunarian conflict. If Gensokyo is real, and the Lunarians are real, then if we have went to the moon, how come we haven't found the Lunarians? Well, in all reality though, that begs the question, where are the Lunarians on the moon? But anyway, maybe we don't know about the Lunarians due to how the government is covering up it. Sakuya doesn't have any powers. Maybe her ability of time manipulation is just something that she got over time in the Gensokyo universe, and maybe she just was a regular maid until she came here. Ramila is a Blackula. I couldn't find anything on this, but I'm going to assume that this is about Ramila belonging to this family. She is a vampire after all, so this could be possible? Marisa dyes her hair. Between PC98 Marisa and modern Marisa, her hair changed from a red color to a more blonde color. That's all I have to say. The Prison River Sisters' music is used to control the masses. The sisters use music as conduits to channel magical phantom notes. This gives their notes and music an unusual quality that gives them a degree of control over human emotions. So is this the musical mind control people are talking about? Aku's untouched score was touched. The untouched score was touched. Listen between these two songs. Okina is everyone's mom. She is a Sage/creator, so it could be possible that she created all these yokai, like a goddess? Well, it's just like how we, associate God as our father, so maybe Okina is everyone's mom in the Touhou universe? The Touhou games are being released in reverse chronological order. That was pretty difficult to read, but maybe the story is supposed to be read backwards in the Touhou universe? I doubt that this is true though, because there are many problems with this theory. Do you know the PC98 thing? Well, to put it in short, in the PC98 canon, Reimu was a child, and then she gets older as the canon goes on until the Windows universe, where she's about to be 14. And I doubt this series is supposed to be, read in reverse, but maybe in a different order, like, out of order, like, change the game story, something like that. You get what I'm saying. Touhou Danmaku All-Star Melody League playable build. This is supposed to be, a fan-made all-star game featuring many of Touhou's favorite finest characters. I found this one Reddit post of the build, but I doubt it was a leak. This does look pretty cool though, as it was made running, Java Touhou, as it says, which is supposed to be another way of making Touhou games, like Danmakufu. Take this as you will. Zun made CTC. This was a fan game created by Danmak, spelled with a Q at the end, and the title screen theme being composed by MC, and the rest by Myeon. The reason why I said all three of those guys' names is because I doubt Zun had anything to do with this fan game. Yukari is a gamer. I mean, gamers are said to be more powerful and higher level thinkers than a normal human being. So maybe us gamers are just Yukaris in real life. We are more powerful than a typical human being. Anonymity of Common Flower's netcode was intentionally bad. Fighting game netcode is important to playing online or at LAN events. Maybe the developers of this game made it so bad to troll people, or the developers didn't know how to optimize netcode. I am going on the latter. Touhou is nationalistic propaganda. I mean, with a game featuring Japanese urban legends, myths, and stories, it is assumed that this is propaganda teaching the outside world what Yokai and Danmaku is like, what Japan is like. Lotus Land Story Uncensored Lunatic Endgame Illustrations. Do I even need to explain? Zun uses a custom-made Roland SD90. Don't we all love Zun's music? Well, he uses an SD90 to create them. Some wonder how Zun just makes his great music. Well, some say he could be using a custom-made SD90 to make his music sound even better. Everyone else is plagiarizing Zun. Well, to put it in short, every other bullet hell shooter game that came after Touhou Project is somehow, just a rip-off, plagiarization, something something blah blah blah. It's just one of those things. The girls are puppets being controlled by their hats. Just what if the reason why every Touhou girl wears hats is because they're somehow mind controlled by the Overmind, and that, you know, they're controlled to fight each other. Well, the best thing I could say is, could this be true? It's unconfirmed. Makai genocide. Besides from, you know, that rhyming, this could be reference to Zun wanting a clean sweep from the PC-98 Makai to start from anew. I mean, Makai is the equivalent of hell to the Western world, so maybe all the spirits who lived there, you know, went through a genocide? Maybe? Sega oversaw the resurrection of Jesus Christ. Sega is said to be about or more than 1400 years old, so it could be possible that she saw the resurrection of our Lord and Savior. Detroit Gensokyo portals. All I can find is the 4Kids translation of Touhou 11. Here you find something about ex-Detroit portals and Yugi and something like that. It's strange. Subterranean animism, negative score runs. Due to a glitch with two of Yugi's spell cards of them having a time split of 43 seconds while the game has a spell card bonus time limits of 35 seconds, this means that, in a time from about 8 seconds, you'll see your store subtracting, and if you get a bonus, it will get subtracted too. Zun's art is outsourced. Due to how bad some consider Zun's art to be, one consider that he outsources his art to someone else, you know, to give it that Zun aesthetic. There are multiple Lily Whites. Over the course of many Touhou games, you'll encounter many Lily Whites, some wearing a white dress, some wearing a black dress, and it could be speculated that there are many Lily Whites. Mai, the same person. Mai from the PC-98 canon, Mai from the Seihou canon, and Mai Tereda are the same people. Maybe they're the same soul but transferred between these bodies. Marisa adopted Reimu. This goes back to the idea that Reimu is an orphan and Marisa adopted Reimu and trained her to use magic to fight Yokai. Although there are problems with this theory, mainly that Reimu is 14 in the Windows universe and Marisa is somewhere around 16, so there's kind of a problem with that of Marisa adopting Reimu. UFO romance giggles are real recordings of Anua. This part here sounds like a giggle, and it sounds pretty unhuman if you ask me. Danmaku subliminal messaging. What if these Danmaku patterns are trying to tell us something? Something about the mind of Zun? Something about what he's thinking? What if it's a cry for help? Unreleased PC-98 Touhou fighting game prototype. A very long time ago, it is said that a PC-98 fighting game based on Touhou exists, although it was likely in prototype stages and was likely abandoned a very long time ago and will never see the light of day. Humans run Gensokyo. Remember the human village? What if they're the ones that govern this land? I mean, there has to be some form of government in this land. Touhou Con orgy. Let's just say something not safe for work happened at a convention between Touhou fans. Something a bit more intimate. Sakuya's Love Hotel. I couldn't find anything based off of Sakuya's Love Hotel, but I did find this from something related to Touhou Love Hotels. Yeah. Legitimate, highly responsive to prayer copies leak miasma. From what I can tell, legitimate, highly responsive to prayer floppy disk leak a toxic gas called miasma. I couldn't find anything about this, besides from a 4chan post that just mentions the two words when I search it up in Google. Zun is a paid actor. What if Zun is paid by someone to be a mascot of Touhou? What if he's just an instrument to push someone's agenda of magical girls and alcohol around? Perfect Cherry Blossom version 0.00. Although no screenshots of a version 0.00 exist, what could be in this missing version? Thoughts of cruelty? Missing characters that we don't even know of? Mima? All fanworks are canon. Zono's okay with fanworks, although what if these fanworks are canon? Just imagine, Koichi Komeji's heart-throbbing adventures is actually canon. Your fanfiction is canon. You know, the art pieces you find on Pixever Danbrew are canon. Amazing. Black Tewi Parallel Gensokyo Theory. How come there are some depictions of Tewi in a black dress? Maybe this could be a parallel universe theory? Maybe Yukari and her portals has something to do with it? Could it be the Mandela effect? Zun's art are photographs. Taking a look at Zun's art, yeah, it looks off, but it's charming at the same time. But what if they're off looking because they're traced off of real photographs in a style? Well, that's certainly a way to draw. All glitches are intentional. Well, all I can say is a wise man once said, glitches are just hidden features in the game. Maybe glitches are just happy accidents that are found in games. From Soy Sauce was a false flag operation against foreign devs. When From Soy Sauce was developing Touhou Super Smash Battles, it came into controversy over Zun's copyright policy. Basically, From Soy Sauce wanted to release the game, but had not been in talks with Zun on permission to get copyright for using Touhou. Moral of the story? If you can, get permission to use things. If you can't, don't use it, and if you must, credit. The Touhou fanbase is a government experiment in creating a large-scale artificial neural network. Out of all fandoms, why the Touhou fandom? But anyway, it basically revolves around the government and neural networks, and Touhou fans are thinking and how creating a neural network to do things, just something like that. Flan's Blue Stage. I don't really understand this one. Maybe it's a stage where we find the mythical blue Flange or Scarlet, different spell cards, maybe even a different ending. But one thing is for certain, what is the blue stage meaning? Zun didn't make highly responsive to prayers. Highly responsive to prayers had a very different play style to what we know as Touhou Project. So it could have been, it's a reasonable idea that, maybe it was just not developed by Zun, it was developed by someone else. The 15th mainline Windows Touhou game will be the final game. Now, some speculate that the 15th mainline Windows Touhou game will be the final Touhou game is because of how, 15 works, numerology, all that crap, but Zun had stated that he wants to continue to make Touhou games as long as he's around, so that'll be good. Mass hysteria induced collective Gensokyo dreams. What is this mass hysteria? What could have caused this hysteria to induce collective dreams among the residents of Gensokyo? What do these dreams contain? Zun's music is procedurally generated by the game's AI based on the listener's neural patterns, thus making every song personalized. All I can wish is this was true. I really hope this is true, because just imagine having your own songs being created by neural patterns and brainwaves. That's actually pretty cool. Polybius was a Touhou game. The legendary Polybius could have been the first Touhou game, and it caused pretty unpleasant side effects like insomnia and hallucination, something like that. However, there are problems with this theory, like Polybius being released in 1981 in the United States, and Highly Responsive to Prayers being released in 1996, and in Japan at a Comic-Con convention. The outside world isn't real. Well, we are living in the outside world. Can you just imagine that we are living in the outside world and we're not real, and Gensokyo is the only place where reality is real? What is reality? Are we even real? Is Gensokyo fake? What is fake? And that is the iceberg, and I won't lie, it is pretty large. However, some of these were pretty hard to research due to Touhou being a mainly Japanese series and there not being much of anything in the English world for some of these entries. Some of these brought back some memories due to me knowing Touhou for a pretty long time. I hope you enjoyed my narration of this iceberg, and I want to give credit to, the person who created this iceberg. Either this user on Reddit or 4chan Anon. And I just like to say, consider this my little Christmas gift to you. I tried to get this out before Christmas, and yeah. If you're watching this on Christmas, Merry Christmas, and if you're watching this on any other part of the year, I just want to say, have a good day. Thanks for watching.